Good morning to all. My name is Fabio Oliveira. I am the communication consultant at Zenithwings, and I will be the moderator of this session. Zenithwings is proud to showcase right now two of its main research and development projects during this online session in the European Big Data Value Forum 2021, Operator and Smart AgriShare. Starting our session, let's meet Zenithwings. It's a Portuguese high-tech company focused on research and development activities, providing innovative solutions for various fields, such as precision farming and Industry 4.0. Our portfolio includes integrated Internet of Things solutions to improve the quality of agriculture and to increase farms production and product tracking solutions in industrial distribution system. So, welcome to session Enhancing the Power of Data in Industrial Environments by Zenithwings, showcasing of ongoing research and development projects. And welcome to our speakers, Eva Rodrigues, Delivery Manager at Zenithwings, Carlos Oliveira, Head of Product at Zenithwings, and Duarte Folgado, Scientist at Fraunhofer, Portugal. The first session, how data can be used to improve working conditions in manufacturing. Eva and Duarte, your turn. Eva, please turn on your microphone. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Fabio. So we are going to see how data can be used to improve working conditions in manufacturing. So you can pass to the next slide. Yeah, regarding the project operator. Next. So we're going to do a showcase of the project operator. Regarding the problem, manufacturing industries and services are the motor of European economy, currently securing 50 million direct jobs. The industrial and service sector in Portugal employs around 23% of active workers, which makes it a highly relevant sector for the national economy. To ensure competitiveness, there is an increasing demand for digital transformation in manufacturing, and the current approach is mainly centered on productivity and also considering some ergonomics aspects, but not addressing cognition at all. So systems developed for this purpose need to be flexible to assist the shift from mass production to mass customization, but always keeping workers, their productivity, job satisfaction, and health at the center, so that digital transformation enables sustainable operations. The challenge here is to develop the technology frameworks which combine ubiquitous human movement tracking with worker self-reported endpoints for a holistic digital twin representation of shop floors. The framework will deliver metrics which can offer a means for faster, accurate, and ubiquitous digitalization of work study, and offer a means for self-reporting to digitalize the assessment of job quality indices through personal and ubiquitous technologies designed with the N for the operator 4.0. Yeah, so the objective in Project Operator is to develop tools for risk exposure data analysis in the workplace, building on the concepts of positive ergonomics, Operator 4.0, and on the job quality indices by the Euro Fund. By collecting and visualizing data on aspects such as physical environment, work intensity, working time, social environment, or skills and discretion. So we are going to tackle Industry 4.0 workplace holistically by gathering and crossing quantitative and qualitative data by the worker's point of view. So we get a richer picture of the worker's well-being, enabling better predictive models. We were going to continuously validate our developed solutions and build large data sets through continuous field work, ranging from short contact sessions during technical development to long-term trials enabling impact assessment. Our vision to this project is to establish a more balanced approach for cognition, productivity, and ergonomics perspectives. The three perspectives before and after project implementation that we can see on the left image, the before, and the right image, the after the project implementation. We have now two use cases from the two most important industries in Portugal. They are both facing increasing competition from emerging markets, while the workforce is generally getting older, and they are both interested in exploring new ways to differentiate from the competition through product and through process. We have NSAT apparel that is focused on textile and clothing, and we have also Volkswagen Auto Europa that is focused in automotive. Yeah, you can pass now, Fabio. Now my colleague Duarte Folgado is going to present the using wearable technology to support operators and digital transformation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eva. So now that Eva just make an initial introduction, we'll delve into more technical details about how we are leveraging the wearable technology to support the operators and the digital transformation at the workplaces. So the first thing that I would like to point out is regarding the digitalization of the work study and the ergonomic risk assessments that nowadays are conducted on large industrial lines. So in a large industrial plant, in the shop floor environments, the movements that the operators accomplish during the working day are pre-established according to a set of timings, a set of methods that are actually well known about the industry. And there is a discipline regarding work study, which is conducted systematic examination of the methods of these operators are conducting to pursue an effective resources and standards for performance of the activities carried out. Nowadays, work study is accomplished via observational approach, where usually there is a person that is near the operator and timing the movements manually in case of the work studies and the productivity departments. In case of the ergonomic departments, usually across all the databases to complement databases information about ergonomic movements. Usually there is also an ergonomist at the workplace to evaluate the angles and the postures that the person is doing and to conduct an evaluation. In order to have a more streamlined approach and to offer tool to these end users, we ask about how can we use wearable data collection and data-driven methodologies to contribute towards the digitalization of the work study. So we drafted an initial protocol of what about will be the day of an operating wearing this set of technologies. So, and we started to make an assumption and starting to make some guidelines to take some technologies for cognition, such as the F9ers, for the productivity inertial sensors and the ergonomics inertial sensors and physiological information. And in case of the productivity, we are using an inertial sensor that collects data like from the accelerometer, the gyroscope, and the magnetometer to have the information about the movement of the operator. With this information, our KPIs will be the number of cycles, the production rates, the similarity with even a standard method that is accomplished by a highly skilled operator that established how the operator must do the method, and then we'll compare these methods with the other operators that are accomplishing the same workstation. This information can also lead to the number of unplanned stops that might occur during the working shift. In terms of the cognition, we are able also to perceive the workload about the subject regarding in a particular task. And in the ergonomics, we are using more sensors to have a more redefined view about the upper body posture of the person. In particular, we are using 7 inertial sensors to get angular data from the upper body of the operator. And this is accomplished with the inertial sensors, and we are also pursuing some studies, in particular without the physiological parameters, with ECG and electromyography. These are examples of the sensors that then the prototypes that we are produced during the projects. Starting from left to right, on left, we have a self-report hardware that collects information more with regards with the mental states of the person, in particular if the person is feeling pain, if he's feeling support, and enables to have a more richer view with regards to the cognition and the mental state of the person. In the center, we have the prototype for the environmental, where we can sense the temperature, humidity, luminosity about the workstation to correlate those variables and create a richer picture about the operator. On the right, we have the setup for the ergonomics and productivity, where we can see a box, a casing near the hand that contains the inertial sensor that retrieves information about the motion of the operator. And in this case, it is embedded with the glove that we are also prototyping. This is a more complete view of the setup of the ergonomic system. So to monitor ergonomics, one sensor will not have information that will be requested to have a more complete view of the operator. So we scale to a complete set of 7 sensors to give a more rich view of the upper body posture of the operator. And now I will speak a little bit about the algorithms that we are doing. So as you can see on the very top left of the slide, we have work cycle segmentation. And in this case, we use a neural networks approach. And then on the bottom, you can see the data. And then this is what is data of the operator in motion. Since the operator does accomplish the work cycles repetitively during his working day, the data that we have will be also repetitive. So we can see that we have a repetitive trend of the data that we collect. Again, the accelerometer, the gyroscope, and the magnetometer. And the goal is to identify the instance where on that data that corresponds to the end of a given work cycle, and then, of course, to the start of another one. If we can accomplish that with the segmentation, then we can leverage those information to extract the KPIs that I've defined previously, such as the number of items and even the productivity of the operator. And on the bottom of the figure, you can see the results about the neural network segmentation that we're using, which is correctly identifying where the cycles begin and where the cycles end after the algorithm learned with a data set. With regards to the ergonomic risk assessment algorithm, so we are using a setup composed of several sensors, like I mentioned, which is able to give angular data from the trunk, shoulder, elbow, and wrists. And then we are using 2 guidelines for ergonomic risk assessment. One is the ISO norm 11226. As you can see, in particular with the several anatomical positions or the several anatomical joints that we have, it designs and scores positions of low, medium, and high ergonomic risk exposure. And then since we have the angular that is being tracked across the inertial sensors, then we compare across the ISO standards to see whether or not a person actually is spending a lot of time in, let's say, a high-risk scenario. Then we are also making some work to integrate these automatic assessments in the European Assembly worksheet that is being used in several industries, EAWS, to give automatically score about the scores that usually the ergonomics ergonomist does by visual observation. So he evaluates the angles that the person is standing, even if he's bent forwards, strongly bent forward. We try to make this evaluation in particular in some way automatically and as a tool to support the ergonomicists at their work. And we are actually pursuing in some more depth about some research questions about biomarkers to measure motion efficiency. This is a work that is also being in a transatlantic collaboration with a lab in the MIT, is where we are pursuing some research questions with regard how to measure motion efficiency and how to get biomarkers about our motion to measure this effort efficiency ratio. And we are measuring the smoothness of the movements, the variability, and the overreach, which is when the operator reaches a position which is not supposed to in so far. And the goal is that these overall biomarkers will serve as an evaluation of the experience level of the operator and also at the fatigue. So with these new biomarkers that we are pursuing, we can address also these variables. This is the architecture that we are proposing. So we have sensors that will collect cross-quantitative data like productivity, cognition, and ergonomics. Those sensors will stream data to edge nodes that will aggregate this data. And then this data will be streamlined to a central server, which will deal with the processing of the data aggregation, and then share this data with a dashboard that industrial managers can see and evaluate the KPIs during the working shifts and access this information. This is an example of a dashboard that we are drafting. So you can see that we have access to the productivity rates of groups of operators. We have access to the variables about the self-report that I've been addressing. And then we also have a dedicated user interface to support, to show the results of the ergonomic risk assessments evaluation. And this presentation that we have been so far, so we have focused in several domains with regard even to the health and being more proficient or more productive with regards to the operator. So we are reaching now towards the operator of the future, the operator 4, where with this type of technology, such as the wearable, the operator can be plus health. Even we are considering also to extend the research that we are pursuing to another domains. One of them is collaborative robotics, then super strength like exoskeletons, super intelligence to combine this data with AI, and perceptive with the augmented reality to help the operator in diagnostic tasks and also for operator training. And thank you, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. We're happy to have questions at the end.
Thank you, Eva and Duarte. And now the session is about using blockchain technology to improve the supply chain processes and ease the certification of agri-food products. Eva and Carlos, your turn.
Yeah, I again. So now I'm going to present the project Smart AgriChain. Yeah, so it's a showcase of Smart AgriChain project. So the problem in Smart AgriChain that involves Smart AgriChain project is that many farmers, producers, and vendors face the challenge of defining of defining the best in order to the best solution for securely and reliably define their product management stages in order to identify opportunities for improvement in its operation, as well as to obtain certifications and quality assurance in a quicker way. The challenge here is to define the best solution to safely and reliably interconnect all stages of product management, to identify opportunities for improvement in your operation, as well as obtain certifications and quality guarantees more quickly, eliminating a whole set of bureaucracies and time-consuming processes. So the problem here is that these supply chains involve usually many intermediaries, bureaucracies, and complex operations, and making it difficult to guarantee sustainable management of all the stages through which the product passes until it reaches the final consumer. On one hand, the consumers are becoming more and more demanding about the products they consume, and they want to make sure of the origin and underlying process of the product they are purchasing or consuming. And on the other hand, we have private sector that is more and more eager to introduce technological advances in supply chains to control over all of their stages and be more economically sustainable and increase their competitiveness. So Smart AgriChain will have the objective to carry out the research and development of a web-based solution to support entities related to the production and commercialization of agri-food products on improving their supply chain processes and ease the certification of their products. The platform will make use of blockchain technology to modernize and strengthen the security of supply chains management for producers and vendors and ensure transparent traceability of the products in all phases. So we are expecting to simplify speed and improve the certification process of agri-food products, to support producers and vendors on optimizing their supply chain, to establish a trusted relationship between producers, vendors, and consumers, to democratize access to certification services for small agri-food producers, to promote the value of sustainable and eco-efficient products and processes, and to strengthen the position of Portugal and Europe as providers of agri-food products of excellence. So with our platform, we are going to make sure that the features that we have is trust and transparency, swift asset transfer, smart contracts, faster transaction flow, fraud detection and prevention, traceability and security, and finally, digitalization and visualization. So regarding our end users, the platform will have producers and vendors that can discover certification entities, access updated legislation, requires consulting services, and smoothly obtain certification that is now very hard from licensed entities and offer product storytelling. We are going to have also certification and consulting entities to ensure producers and vendors meet the requirements for certification and offer services and improve monitoring and inspection. We are going to have logistics, distributors, and retail that can access the data on the product's path and submit information on distribution and retail process. And finally, we're going to have end customers that can easily and quickly access authentic information on the history of the products they wish to purchase from the farm to the table. So we are now onboarding two end users, Adega de Favais e Caos Primavera, that are focused on beverages. So regarding the business point of view, I'm gonna introduce you my colleague, Carlos Oliveira, that is the product owner of Green Pact that is the product that Smart AgriChain is behind.
Thanks, Eva. And so I'll just give you a little bit of a view as to how we think of incorporating the results of research and innovation projects into business products like GreenPact, and how Zenithwings is planning to apply those to market and bringing those to a wider set of stakeholders that benefit from the technology that we're building here. GreenPact is essentially the corollary of many years of research and investigation at Zenithwings, where all of this technology that you guys have just heard about gets rolled up into a platform that allows companies to position themselves as sustainable by virtue of adopting a technological product that's supported by humans that provides a sustainability department as a service. Fabio? So what's the problem that we're trying to address here? And I could ask you to move to the next slide. The problem really that GreenPact is looking to address is that, Fabio, next slide, please. Thank you. As companies try to move towards climate goals and take sustainability concerns as one of their primary targets for the next 10 years of operation, there's a massive challenge at hand, right? Which is, how does a company manager, a company owner, a small business become carbon positive by 2030, right? And whether you're a small business or a large corporation, the reality is that continuing to increase emissions and just offsetting them elsewhere just won't continue to do. And it's really, really hard to understand where to start. So GreenPact comes as a solution for these problems, where we're essentially, next slide, please, positioning ourselves as a sustainable supply chain as a service. What GreenPact does, really, is to allow any company to come on board, digitize their entire supply chain, and quickly understand where and how to make an impact, so that they can move from where they are into becoming climate neutral by 2030 in a progressive manner, without compromising any of their business objectives or without being overwhelmed by the amount of effort and work and investment that it would take to become climate positive by that time. Next slide, please. So there's essentially two sets of stakeholders here, and for manufacturers or for any company that owns their internal operations, what we essentially do is we start by integrating with whatever systems they have in place already, whereas supply chain management tools, ERPs, any digitalization activity that they're continuing to pursue, like IoT devices, employee tools that they have in place. We create a blockchain-based evidence record based on the technology that's being developed under Smart AgriChain. We use machine learning to identify measurable improvements in production. We map out the entire supply chain and represent it virtually in our platform with a digital twin. And then from that initial set of data, we lower the cost of compliance, the cost of quality control, the cost of certification, and give companies a single sustainability ratings that their customers understand. Essentially, this single sustainability rating is how we help companies position their improvements as they make progress towards becoming more sustainable. We created a framework that looks at community, labor, environment, animal welfare, to understand how brands and manufacturers behave in each of these dimensions, and to help them communicate to partners, to suppliers, to consumers, how they're positioned and how they're doing and how they're progressing in each of these dimensions, so that their sustainability efforts get valued by the market, so that they clearly can communicate to consumers what the value in each of these changes are, and so that they can extract some of the business value in becoming more sustainable as they go, and position themselves as sustainable brands and greener brands with actual effort put into making their entire operation more sustainable. For brands and for anyone starting a new business, we essentially take anyone that's already on top of the platform, we vet them, we, based on this GreenPact rating, this framework that we've created, give them a full-fledged production platform where they can design and source every aspect of that product, track the production process every step of the way, test their batches and scale as they grow according to both the business and sustainability criteria, and then help them distribute them across their direct-to-consumer or e-commerce channels. which essentially takes us to what the ultimate benefits for all of the end users of the platform are, whether it's brands and suppliers that we're focusing on, where they can essentially bring certifiably sustainable products to market. Eva was mentioning the work that we were doing in the food and beverage industry, where the blockchain evidence records, the machine learning aspects of the platform, and the fact that we're digitizing a lot of the supply chain processes allows them to then interact with certifiers in the market to create the sense of validity around the actions that they're taking to make their product much more sustainable. We give them access to specialized supply chains with partners that have already been vetted and rated within the GreenPact framework. And we give them analytical capabilities so that they benchmark themselves against the market and figure out where improvements may lie. Then for distributors, for people who are selling these products, we're able to aggregate valuable meta information about how sustainable they are and in which dimensions, so that, for instance, as consumers purchase them online, they can filter for these attributes and identify products that are more akin to their values. And we allow them to cater to new customer segments in these sustainable markets that are growing much faster than regular customer segments that they wouldn't be able to cater otherwise. And then for end customers, for all of us that are purchasing products and are looking to adopt more sustainable consumer patterns, we allow you to make informed decisions and to personalize your shopping behavior again, according to not just what the economic outcomes are, but also to the sustainability aspects of each of these products. That's us. Fabio, to get back to you.
Thank you so much, Eva and Carlos. Now, there are any questions? I really think not. So I think that's not the questions to make. Thank you so much to all the viewers. We hope you enjoy it. It was an honor participating in the European Big Data Value Forum 2021 with our two projects. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or information requests, we can contact us. Thank you. Stay safe and see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.